Let's consider the graph of y equals x squared, or f of x equals x squared. At this point, we know the graph is a parabola. All right, now let's consider the graph of f of, if this is f of x, let's consider f of x minus 3. Well, if this is f of x minus 3, this means we go back to f of x, and wherever there's an x, I plug in x minus 3. So we get x minus 3, and all of that is squared. What is the graph of that going to look like compared to this? Well, notice when the graph, let me first just explain what is the difference. This is going to take this graph and it's going to move it to the right 3 places. So it's going to take this point, it's going to move the whole thing to the right 3 places. Why does it do that? Well, notice keep in mind this is really our y value. Y equals our function. Yeah. So when I plug in 0 here for x, I get y equals 0. To get 0 for y here, I got to plug in x is 3. That's 3 more than 0, yeah? 3 to the right of 0. When x is 1, y is 1. How do I get 1 over here? X has to be 4. 4 is 3 more than 1, yeah? So f of 1 is 1 squared, which is 1. Here, f of 4 is 4 minus 3, which is 1 squared. The difference between 1 and 4 is 3 units to the right, yeah? Let me just do one more. So let's say, what about f of 3? 3 squared here is 9. So when I plug in f of 3, I go back to f and plug in 3, I get 9. How do I get 9 over here? Well, in other words, how do I get 3 squared? X has to be 6. F of 6, 6 minus 3 gives me 3, and 3 squared is 9. The difference between our x values, 6 and 3, this one is 3 to the right of this one. So this will move the graph f of, given a function f of x, whatever the graph is, whatever the function is, f of x minus 3 just moves the whole graph to the left, to the right 3 places, and I just explained why. So if y is some function, who knows what the graph is, what is the graph of f of x minus 5 going to look like compared to this? This graph is going to take this one, it's going to move the whole thing to the right 5 places. Yep. What if we had, let's go back to our f of x equals x squared. What is f of x plus 3 going to look like? Well, this is going to move the graph to the left 3 places. The reason why is because to get 0 for y, x has to be 0, because 0 squared is 0. To get 0 for y here, x has to be negative 3. So this is x plus 3, f of x plus 3, plug in x plus 3, I get this. To get 0, x has to be negative 3, because negative 3 plus 3 is 0, and 0 squared is 0. The difference between 0 and negative 3 is negative 3 is to the left of 0 by 3 places. So when you have a subtraction in here, it moves the graph to the right. When you have an addition, it moves it to the left. Moves it to the left 3 places, moves it to the right 3 places. If we had f of x minus 6, it moves it to the right 6 places. F of x plus 6 will move the graph to the left 6 places. So that's the basic idea, and now in the next video we'll do some examples of moving left and right and up and down for some fundamental functions that we should be familiar with.